Hey, feral listeners, get out your big boy, Big Dick Joe DeRosa, as they call me.
Oh, boy, nobody's going to want to listen to this podcast with that intro. No one is going to want to listen to this. Believe me, it's a great podcast. It's called Emotional Hangs. None of it's like that.
I know.
None of it's like
I
that.
can't tell my nickname to the feral listeners.
Oh, boy. Guys, we have a fantastic episode this week. We got, from the adventures of Pete and Pete, Michael Morona and Danny Tamborelli. So
Yes.
listen up. We talk about friendship.
Adult friendship. Join us for the new episode with our boys. On the count of three. 1, 2, 3. Let's get soft.
Feral Audio.
Hey everybody, welcome to Real Life Sci-Fi with Wade and Willy. I'm Wade.
I'm Willy.
This is the podcast where we talk about sci-fi stuff and ghosts and stuff like that.
Paranormal. It really is just a late night bar conversation is what we're having.
And yeah, sometimes we get into fights, so who knows? Today,
Sometimes we don't have facts. Most of the times we don't.
right.
Go on.
Today our guests are friends from the Fairpoint podcast. It's Nathan and Craig. What's up, guys?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Thanks for
Thank
being
you so
here.
much for having us on.
Yeah, you guys are on the East Coast. I will say I don't really listen to podcasts, but I was forced to listen to your guys' podcast because I had a good time doing it.
It certainly wasn't at gunpoint. Not at all.
But I'm a big fan of yours now.
That's
and,
phenomenal. What did you listen to?
I listened to 98, 100, the 100 Spectacular, and then that music track. And I was listening to that music track on the way to work this morning, and I was like, it was so good. I was like tearing up.
Oh my God, dude!
I love the
made
music
my
you guys
day.
did, and the just the quotes that you use. It's just like, that's all I expect from music is like good music, but to have like your thought energy in that song, just made it amazing.
Thank you so much. Like, you guys could be like, "Yo, this podcast is shit," and scrap it and never put it up, and I'd still be like, "Nah, worth it. Totally worth it." Stayed up all night. I'm totally into it.
Well, we put out every podcast no matter how bad it is.
Yeah.
I know. I know.
We stopped
I
it.
know.
Don't worry about
We've
that.
been there.
Like I said, I listen. I know.
Well, thank you. Do you want to tell our listeners just kind of what your podcast is, where they can find it and stuff like that?
Oh, you can find it everywhere. It's on iTunes. It's on Stitcher. But secretroommultimedia.com is our website, secretroommultimedia.com. We picked way too long a name to expect people to remember, so I always say it like 2 or 3 times, secretroommultimedia.com. Fairpoint, we sort of talk about everything. We have a lot of episodes that would appeal to your listeners that cover like science fiction or conspiracy or paranormal or cryptozoological things, but we also talk about comics,
History, movies, behind the scenes stuff.
yeah, and we try to really go hard into the research. And lately, we've been really trying to do more radio plays and sketches and stuff.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
I also do a Pokemon podcast on the side. If any listeners like Pokemon, you can find
side
it all.
bitch.
It's all on the website.
Okay, cool. So we'll just do the normal shit, right? If you listen, we do this WoW scale thing. You're either a Wade or a Willy.
Each of you say your names so our listeners can kind of get to know your voice. Say your name so that, so I just repeat myself again.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for you to stop to let me say it. Craig Lewis.
That's Craig Lewis, and I'm Nathan K.
And that's Nathan K.
I guess we should also tell everybody that this is our first Skype podcast, and so I'm presuming there are going to be like technical difficulties at some point. Hopefully not, but I just want to tell everybody.
Hopefully not, because we want to keep doing this.
There probably will be, but if you have a competent editor, they're not difficult to patch up in post.
Nathan, we're popping the Skype cherry. That makes me so happy.
Yeah, that's
it's just-
fantastic.
it's you guys and then the legitimate like UFO guys who are like 80 years old that we hope to get on here.
Yeah, we were supposed to do a Skype one with Robert Jacobs, and we haven't gotten a hold of him yet.
Well, I'm glad you guys are going to be doing a Skype one with somebody legitimate too. That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's do the wow scale. And I guess just Nathan answer first and Craig answer because I don't want to repeat myself a bunch of times.
Fair enough.
All right, do you believe in aliens?
Okay, I'm gonna do my damnedest to just not go on and on and on because I have really tough, complex beliefs on these things.
It's already started.
Sure.
Jesus.
So I'll just say sure.
I do.
Yeah.
Okay, you both do. Do you believe that aliens are on Earth?
I don't believe. If I have to, I don't like the word believe. I'm also gonna say that I hate the word believe. So I
Oh my
like.
God.
I like Chris Rock's idea in Dogma where he's like, have an idea or just, but like, I don't, for the sake of the conversation and moving it forward, I don't believe that any aliens are like visiting here in spaceships or that there's like these culture. I don't know. I don't believe anything like that. I do believe that it's possible that there might be something extraterrestrial either on Earth or that has visited Earth, but
I say highly unlikely that there's any currently.
I don't believe it would be what you expect to find. I don't believe it's like little green men walking around in spaceships talking to the government and stuff like that.
Ever since Terrence McKenna, I now just believe we talk to them through acid trips.
Yeah. When I was on their show the first time, we talked about Terrence McKenna, and it's just amazing. But Nathan, to add on to what you're saying, it's weird, yeah, because a lot of times it's worth it to have definition arguments because having a definition sets the tone for what you believe. So I get what you're saying. Placing a definition on something can like make someone not even think of other possibilities. So
we can make statements and then say you can't quote us on
Okay,
that.
so here's what I'll say. I should have just said this. Okay, maybe I believe in the possibility of extra dimensional beings in like a Lovecraftian sense, maybe. And I believe in the possibility that fungus in itself, in all forms, is an extraterrestrial life form. I'm weird.
Yeah, okay. I feel like we've talked about that a little bit. Like we've done the mushroom thing, I believe.
yeah.
Okay, what about ghosts? You guys believe in ghosts?
I believe that there are weird entities on the planet that aren't necessarily physical. I don't necessarily think they're all like the spirits of dead people. Whether or not dead people, I don't know. Whether or not you can interact with dead people, I really don't know. Like, I like the idea of like, that like recorded events or like that energy impacted an area so much that you could see something. I think it's possible that consciousness could survive. I really don't know, but I do believe that there are weird non-physical entities that exist.
And I believe there are ghosts, but I believe all the ghost hunting shows are full of shit.
Oh
Yeah. I agree.
Okay, Bigfoot. You guys believe in Bigfoot?
I wish. I used to back in the day before that shit got debunked.
I think Bigfoots existed at one point in history.
A Bigfoot, or just like, are you just talking about a giant man with a large foot?
No, I don't think it's a singular. I mean, as a
No, I meant the monster truck. Bigfoot.
He's talking about his grandfather.
Oh, you guys have had this argument over whether it's like one Bigfoot or I think the general consensus is that it's a breeding population.
It's a family of big feet.
Out there in the woods, and I don't know. I don't.
I like the videos of traveling Bigfoot families.
I don't.
Nomadic in nature, for sure.
I don't invest too much belief in things like that. That I don't know, but like I have had experiences that are crazy and weird, so I I feel weird saying like, nah, I don't believe in shit, but I am really skeptical at the same time.
Well, there had to have been some Bigfoot somewhere because, I mean, they wouldn't put that shit on Animal Planet if there wasn't, right?
Yeah, well, what if it was just like some weird bear disease where they just didn't have skin?
They just started standing, walking upright.
Or
they were
just
they were
cancer
rejected
bears.
Russian circus bears.
All right. What else? JFK assassination. Do you believe that the government is telling the truth?
No, not at all. But I never believe the government's telling the truth.
So the listeners don't get
neither.
confused. He told me to go first, and now Craig is going first. So I don't care. You can go first. I just don't want them to think you're me.
My plans are being ruined.
I don't fucking know. I don't know enough about that shit to really have a real opinion on it, but it does seem pretty fishy.
Yeah, I just think, an innocent man took a huge bullet. Not just JFK, the guy that went to jail for it.
Right. Two innocent men.
Yeah, two innocent men took 2 bullets.
Free energy exists and it's being kept from people.
Free
From
energy?
populations. Yeah.
If not, I definitely think the potential to make it a fucking possibility pretty damn quickly exists, and that's being kept from people because there's no capitalistic gain for it.
Yeah, so there goes the purpose, and our whole economic model is out the window.
Yeah.
We just start giving away free energy. Who wants that? How can you make money off of free?
What else? Is that it?
What about the moon
do you have
landing?
Do you have any superstitions?
Sometimes, but against my better judgment because I know it's bullshit. But I'll find myself like falling into that OCD trap, and I'm like, dude, that's bullshit. So, but not really.
I think for me, it's less of superstitions and more of just I have rituals or habits. Like every Halloween, I watch the same horror movies. Every Christmas, I do the same thing before I go to bed and when I wake up, and that.
Yeah, but that's because if you don't do that, Santa Claus is gonna kill you.
Krampus is going to kill you.
Wait, you said every Christmas you do? Is that just so that you get the best presents or what?
Yeah, because, well, okay, first off, I have to leave out the note and the cookies for Santa. I've been doing it since I was 3. Been eating them myself at 2 a.m. since I was 16.
Are you serious?
No. I wish.
Oh, God, I wish.
Yeah.
I wish you were serious.
You really disappointed, Wade.
I know I did.
You should have just let him believe, man.
Well, we were just talking about not making statements of belief here.
If you're listening and you're 16, you have a chance to do something every year for the rest of your life that would make a great anecdote when you get older.
Also,
Instead,
if
you
you're-
just be a
if
liar
you're-
like me.
If you're 5 and listening, Santa Claus does exist.
If you're 5 and
comes
listening.
And check out my Pokemon podcast.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's about it. That's all we
Yeah,
ask, right? I'm going to give Nathan a 10.
So that
And
makes
I'll
me a
give-
Willy.
Yeah, you're a Willy. I'll give Craig a 9. I mean, you basically had the same answers, but Nathan sounds more like a stoner than Craig does. so I'll say Craig is more level-headed.
Yes. You're going to regret saying that by the end of the podcast.
Great.
Sure, I'll take it. but I want you to know that I actually am a lot more skeptical than you probably think I am. I'm actually
Yeah, your test is rigged.
no.
What's one thing that you're skeptical of?
I don't believe like anything. Like I really don't believe any story anybody tells me about any UFO, alien, ghosts that they see. But I have had experiences that I'm like, wow, if I tell anybody about those experiences, no one's gonna believe me about those. So I'm just kind of like,
give us one. What do you got?
oh, geez.
There's a quick one.
Spot, right on the spot.
Right on the spot. I've just a lot of them are really deeply personal, and I don't like to talk about them. But
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Like
that's okay though. I've had experiences basically which have like
Well,
they've confirmed without a doubt to me that there was something more going on than just regular life, and that there was some type of weird entity or energy, or like without a doubt, like it seems crazier to me to believe it was all coincidence than to believe there was something really weird going on.
Yeah.
I guess.
I've had some of that. What about you, Craig? Have you experienced anything weird or paranormal-ish?
Yeah, that's why I believe in ghosts. I lived 1 year in college in this place that ended up being, I swear my room was haunted, but I don't know, just a lot of shit happened. I started having crazy night terrors, and they didn't stop, and they just all kind of equaled out to, by the end of the semester, one long story. Like I felt like I was remembering just a small piece each night, and it's just fucking fucked up. But
Do you want to? You can tell like the specifics of a ghost story if you want.
So you basically, but it was just dreams, right?
yeah, it was pretty much just dreams. So it felt like experiences, and things were like I'd wake up and it'd always be like 3 a.m. Every time. And one time, like I got up and like my door had swung wide open, but one of the hinges was broken. It was a really shitty college apartment. So I also did not have a doorknob. So it was just a hole for the doorknob. And like the thing was off its hinge, but it swung open like wicked hard. And that's what woke me up. And I went to the bathroom for some reason. I was like sweating like crazy. And when I tried to turn on the light switch, the light just kept flickering on and off. And then it just went off. And then like freaked out and then left.
You left the entire apartment?
Yeah, for like I took a walk around the block for a few hours. And then, then it was eventually almost like, morning time. So I started playing some PS2, pretending like, shooting some Tiger Woods up and pretending nothing happened.
Well, he took a walk for a little bit, and he took a walk for a little while, and then he remembered the cookies and milk he left out. And he was like, "Oh shit, fuck that, I'm going back.
I'm hungry. I ain't gonna let no ghost stop me for some cookies."
Oh, it was also Christmas, and that's just the way Santa Claus does it now.
Yeah, that's why I was alone in an 8-person house.
Do you have anything, Wade? Have you ever experienced anything?
Me?
Yeah.
No. Haven't you asked me that a bunch of times?
Yeah, but I always...
He's going to catch you slipping one of these times. You're going to be like,
Well, no.
yeah, I did.
It's almost like I asked just so that whoever hasn't listened before...
Oh, right. No, I don't know. I feel like now both you guys are 10s.
Dude, I had a
swear I'm not
situation one time
crazy.
where I I was sleeping at this girl's house, and before she went to bed, she said, "Oh, and if you see like a family of ghosts, they're all really nice." So you know they won't bug you, and then she went to sleep, and I was just like, and I was like,
hello.
Yes, I have anxiety, and I don't really believe in ghosts, but I've also never had anybody say anything like that to me before.
I remember when I was really...
I didn't sleep. I really didn't sleep. I just laid looking out the hallway, going, "What was that? What was that?"
I was like 6 or 7, and there was a babysitter, and I was talking. It's a very foggy memory because I was so young, but I remember being like, "Yeah, I'm just kind of scared. Like, I know that like ghosts aren't real, but..." And she's like, "Oh no, ghosts are real." And like straight up, and I'm like, "What?" Like, she was probably 16, but when you're that young, a 16-year-old and a 30-year-old, there's no difference. Like, I was like, a grown-up said ghosts are real
Right,
when I said I was
totally.
scared. Holy
Dude, my mom and my aunt used to always talk about the vampires that lived in the hills of the Philippines. Like,
wow.
And my aunt used to take her teeth out and scare us, like she was a vampire. So I never knew if they believed those stories or if that was just to set up her scaring us.
The
Does
scare
your
moment.
aunt know what a vampire is? Because they're known for their teeth, not their lack of.
Yeah, but the two missing then make these two real.
Oh,
look-
okay. got
Oh,
it.
okay.
Well, but
make your
Willie,
insides.
Willie's leaving out the scariest part was that they weren't dentures. Like his grandmother would literally just pull out her.
She would just
teeth.
pull out.
She
She would take
really go
pliers
all
and
out.
just pull
She
her
would
teeth
pull out
out.
all the stops.
I
and all the
admire
teeth.
her commitment.
Scare these kids.
She could only do the bit one time, but it was worth it.
No, but it was worth it. They never
All right.
touched her coin purse again.
Well, I don't know. I guess I don't know. I don't know how to rank you because now you're telling me that you're not a 10, Nathan.
I honestly believe that I'm like, it's weird. I think Craig's a 5.
We
and
just shifted.
I think Craig's a 5 and I'm literally a 0 and a 10 at the same time. Like, it's weird. I'm a walking contradiction. And I know that you're going to hear that and be like, no, that makes you a fucking 10, you asshole.
I kind of get it. No, I mean, because you're cynical, like you don't believe what other people tell you, but then you also like have your own thoughts on it. So it makes sense. But I think that just, I don't know, that makes you a 5, I think. And then Craig, I guess, would, I don't know, be an 8 or something. You've really thrown a wrench into the WoW scale, and
We broke
it'll
the
never be the
system.
same.
I
guess I should ask.
Viva la
how
revolution!
gullible-
I was really dreading this because I knew this was going to happen with the WoW scale. Like, I knew this was going to happen.
Well, I need to refine it. Like, what could I ask that would refine it in a way? I guess, like, do you believe other people's ghost stories?
Oh yeah,
believe
yeah.
other
Oh yeah. How
people's
about this?
ghost
Do you,
stories?
when somebody tells you a paranormal story, do you believe them, or do you just believe that they believe themselves and they're crazy?
Or do you, or neither? Or do you just?
I
Not
think like
believe.
90% of the paranormal stories out there are like bullshit. Maybe 90% maybe might be too high a thing. I don't know. I'm not going to say a number. I think a lot of them are bullshit because I just know that like 90% of the people I know are full of shit. So like,
I think that if we're living in a simulation, then 99% of them are real.
whoa. But then,
Okay,
I
you
mean,
broke me.
Me and Craig together did see like a pattern of stationary lights in the sky, which we're not going to tell the story because we tell it on the newest episode we did with Willy on Fair Enough. But like, and that was
so
weird.
this is like you're promoting a book now, and if
Yeah.
our listeners
Yeah,
want to know,
listen.
they have to go.
we
to
don't
your
want to waste
show.
time repeating the story, but like, and I know people that I trust like that they would never lie to me, and I trust their judgment and their I don't know, like I trust their judgment, and yet this person told me they saw a flying saucer, but I know that flying saucers were basically invented by a journalistic misprint because somebody was like, oh, what I saw, it skipped across the sky like if someone threw a saucer across the water.
Frisbees
And
weren't invented yet.
Literally, the person was not saying that they saw a saucer. They were just trying to describe the way it moved. And the newspaper
Yeah.
was like, flying saucers. And then it created this bullshit phenomenon. So, like, I know that flying saucers were made up, and yet someone who I completely trust says they saw one. So, like, I don't know, you know? I don't know.
That's interesting. We've never talked. We've never talked about that.
It's very
The
interesting,
flying
yeah.
saucer thing.
Specifically, I mean, the first case on record, they were like moon shaped.
Well, it wasn't he wasn't describing the shape as being like a
Yeah, yeah,
saucer.
yeah.
He was describing
No, I'm
the
saying though that the crafts he described were shaped like crescent moons, but he was
Okay.
describing the movement.
And the way they
as-
moved across the sky was as if you skipped a saucer across water, like skipping stones. But the journalist who wrote the newspaper article was like, flying saucers. And then some other dumbasses were like, yeah, I saw flying saucers too. And, you know, then a cultural phenomenon begins.
But it was
and
really
if you
a
ever look
crescent
at like
shape.
Billy Meyer's flying saucers, it's like clear. They look like they were made in a garage in the 70s, and that's when they started. I don't know. It's just
Well, now
he has amazing stories, but his UFOs look like shit.
now everybody needs to be way more skeptical with the amount of like personal drones out and about.
Totally.
Like anything can now just be explained away as a drone. Yeah, it was probably a drone. Somebody's playing a prank.
But you know how loud those things are.
Yeah, totally.
Even the
'cause
tiniest one,
I have 5.
like trying to spy on somebody, and there's like a lawnmower in the air.
There were some Harley Davidson stickers on this shit.
Cutting the grass in heaven now.
Can we do a segment where our producer can't hear you guys? I want to do a segment where he has to guess what we're actually talking about. All right, so here's round 1 of Brendan trying to guess what we're actually talking about.
Seems to be flying saucers versus UFO phenomenon.
Close enough. It's pretty close. All right, we'll check back in for Brendan tries to figure out what we're talking about. So what do we?
Yeah,
let's,
this is
let's
going to
get
be a weird
into-
episode because today we're talking about magic.
With a K.
The Gathering.
No.
Oh no, I fucked up.
Did you guys do a bunch of? Did you go out and buy a bunch of decks in preparation?
Bro, you don't even want to see my dragons attack here.
All you guys do is list off valuable cards throughout the ages.
This one's aggro.
We are going to do a live unboxing of a Magic deck at the end of the episode, so everyone stay tuned.
I'm trying to look for my magic cards. I'm like, I don't think I unpacked
So
them.
wait, did either of you guys do either of you guys play?
I've never even seen it. I have a friend who plays, and he tells me about it, and it's just I don't even understand.
You've
it.
never even seen it? You haven't seen a Magic card?
No, I swear to God, I've never.
Well, that would probably explain why you don't understand it when he tries to explain it.
That is crazy
I mean, I
to me that
understand
you
it in theory, right? It's like any of those games that are on like Witcher or something, where you just have like certain powered cards, and then
It's
they
like
fight
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Like other...
Well, it's just
But-
where were you in the 90s? Like you've never seen a Magic card?
I didn't start playing Magic till like 2011.
You've
Well,
seen
yeah,
a card.
yeah, same with me.
I mean, you guys, I'm cool.
And then
Yeah, okay. All right. Damn. He's got us there. He's never seen a Magic card. He's officially the coolest one in the room.
I always avoided them because I knew that I would get into them. So I was
Yeah.
like, I just can't even open that package.
It's a good game.
I-
I played it back in the day, and it's just impossible to keep up with unless you're committed to being committed to it,
Yeah.
which I am absolutely not interested.
We had a
in
group of
doing.
friends get together, and some of our friends taught us how to play, and we were all supposed to go to a tournament together. One of those ones where everybody gets a starter deck, so you're not playing against years of building up a deck.
Yeah. Pre-release tournaments. Everybody just makes their own little deck out of like a handful of
but
packs they get.
We never did, but we played it for a few nights, and it was a lot of fun. And
Yeah, I mean, it would-
I mean, like it is what if video games were never invented, I bet it would be even bigger.
It would be great if Magic was like chess, and you could just play a game whenever you wanted. But
Oh,
the thing
dude,
is,
yeah.
you have to be committed to spending money and dedicating your life to this game and hanging around really, really awkward, uncomfortable people that hang around a lot.
Do you guys know if there
Yeah,
are
that's true.
nation rankings of Magic players?
What's that?
Do they rank players based on nations? Like,
Probably.
wouldn't that be fun? I mean,
I have-
like chess, I guess, where it's like, oh, he's the best player from Russia.
I have a
He's the best player out of the Indonesian
I have
channel.
a friend who literally used to pay his rent with Magic, winning Magic tournaments. And not only that, but he's cool. Like, this dude gets laid more than most of my friends. Like,
Which we all know that's the factor of being cool.
Yeah, man.
No.
People who have sex the most are the coolest.
oh, yeah.
Well,
If you're not copulating.
okay,
Okay,
is gonna be
I feel
a
like
weird
we've reached.
episode because I feel like three of us have stuff to present.
Okay, fair enough. I was going to say, I feel like at this point, some of the listeners think we actually are talking about Magic the Gathering for.
So what color do you guys play?
So
okay.
let's get all of us.
Oh, I'm seeing that they do have leaderboards from every country.
Whoa.
Never mind.
Magic
We're
the
talking about
Gathering.
Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, Wizards of the Coast. Pay us money, Wizards of the Coast.
Oh man, well, whatever. Yeah, that's funny. I think we should. I think we should each take a moment to just each say what we think about magic.
The real magic.
The real magic.
The fake magic.
Okay.
The real fake Magic with a K.
I
The
wanna-
real
I
fake
wanna-
magic.
Let me take the reins first then and present a clarification of terms. It's magic spelled with a K, so it has nothing to do with magic tricks. And it's not just, oh, well, it's magic because it's like unexplained by science. It's you can do stuff without it having to make sense scientifically. That's not what magic is about at all. The best way I think to start is Aleister Crowley's definition of magic, which I wrote down. I'll
Oh yeah,
read it.
he's great.
Magic is the science and art of causing change on a material as well as a spiritual level to occur in conformity with will by altered states of consciousness.
After sex.
I think we could lose the by altered states of consciousness part. That's unnecessary. Just like basically, magic is using your willpower to change things in the world. Like, so just literally me picking up this ashtray on the table and moving it
Is magic.
is a very low form of magic, according to like Aleister Crowley's an understanding of like magic.
Wait,
magic with a K.
Does he spell it with a K?
Yes. I think the significance of spelling magic with a K is to like differentiate it from like, it's not magic tricks. It's not like what wizards do in Lord of the Rings.
So I was researching the right stuff.
But like,
Meaning,
he really
I
just,
was researching magic with a K.
Cool.
he did
without
it to have so
spelling it
much
that way.
sex, though. Like, he had,
Because my first thing was all Aleister Crowley.
yeah,
Wait, hold on.
the
Are we
sex
losing you?
magic.
What'd you say, Craig?
He did it all just like for all the sex. He loved sex, and he made magic about sex.
I don't know if he did it just for the
Well,
sex.
can
I
we
think he
ref-
just did like the sex. I think he had
Sex
thing
is a
for the
bonus.
sex. He was Craig. He was cool.
Somebody,
what do you
somebody
expect?
give me a refresher on. Give me a refresher on who Aleister Crowley is again.
Okay,
The most laid magician ever.
a few episodes back, you guys were. It was the Waco episode, and Willie, you were trying to talk about Aleister Crowley. You were saying he's the guy that said, "Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law." And Wade, you thought he was talking about Anton LaVey, and you
I
guys
said
started
Anton
talking about
LaVey, yeah.
Anton LaVey. Anton
Okay,
LaVey
yeah.
was the founder of Satanism in like the 50s or 60s. Aleister
Yeah.
Crowley was around the turn of the century, the early 1900s, and he makes Anton LaVey look like a pussy. And
Yeah, but
pardon me, I
Anton
don't
LaVey
use that word, but
does use magic, right? He
Anton LaVey
practices a form of chaos magic.
Sure. I'm not interested in talking about him. Aleister Crowley did. He was. He is the occult. He basically is the occult. Everything that you think of, if I say occult, anything that pops into your mind can probably be traced back to Aleister Crowley. And
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So he's like Christians hate him.
oh hell yes, they hate him.
Okay.
Christians hate him. Satanists want to be him.
Click through for more.
Yes.
Find out how you can be like Aleister Crowley.
Thanks, BuzzFeed.
I mean, he once performed a ritual that took like 37 days or something like that, and like
That's the big one, and that ritual was to open up a portal, and supposedly he never closed the portal, and that specific 37-day ritual is what it happened to JPL, L. Ron Hubbard, and Jack Parsons.
Oh,
That's
they
the
were
same
all in a
ritual
group
that
together,
they were
right?
trying to.
they were trying
Yeah,
to
they were
close
trying
the
to
portal.
open a gate or something.
Are you sure that you're not just like remembering one of the anthology of interests of Futurama?
No, these guys actually
Yeah.
they did, right? They got together at some
Yeah.
like mansion or something and like tried
They
to
got together at this place that what's it called, the Devil's Gate.
Yeah, Devil's Gate or something like that.
So
It's right next to that, and then that's why he bought the place to put JPL there, was because that area had some spiritual significance or something. That's where they tried to open the portal, and supposedly to some conspiracy. Well, I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole.
So clearly
I just
they
want-
closed
go
the
on.
portal, or else we would have like
Well, okay.
interdimensional beings all over the place.
I don't know if you've heard about this, but supposedly when L. Ron Hubbard and Jack Parsons opened that portal, that's when we started getting a lot of our UFO sightings, and so some people think that they opened a portal and what came through were the jinn and these other dimensional beings, and they're claiming to be. We've misnamed them as aliens, but they're actually just demonic or jinn.
But I feel like the right thing to do in this instance is not believe that, because that would give a little bit of credibility to Scientology.
Well, also, I feel like the Jinn are much older than Aleister Crowley.
Yeah, no, fuck
Oh
Scientology.
but performing a 37-day portal, because I listened to that episode too, where you talked about how they weren't. Listen, I know that the Jinn is just a whole nother topic, and it's so big.
Oh wait, are you saying you listened to the Jinn episode of Fairpoint?
The one where we weren't even in.
That wasn't even us. That was an episode we gave to two of our fans as like a
I
favor
know.
to
You
our
guys
fans.
come in the end.
We come in at the end. Yeah, we let our fans take the episode over for a day. But
it was really great though. There's a lot of, because the Jinn genies, that's all really crazy, and it's weird because Jinn, aliens, anytime people talk about dealing with these other entities, they always talk about them being not truth, or basically lying. That they're always lying. They're always, and whatever. I mean, the thing is, this is all speculation. This is all what ifs and whatnot. So I'm not trying to say let's get back on, but I'm just trying to say that, like, I mean, there are a lot of people that think that what all magic is asking these other Jinn entities for their power to make the magic real.
What interests me, okay, so opening portals, talking to Jinn,
so making
casting
wishes,
spells, like what interests me isn't so much that, like that is, okay, I think magic, like I said, like picking up an ashtray and moving it across the table is like a very low level of magic. I think if you can understand magic...
Depending on how you define magic, I suppose.
Well, by Aleister Crowley's definition. So I think, like, if you can understand magic on a more realistic level and on a more basic level, then if you believe in these areas of things like, demonology and astral projection in different dimensions, then why wouldn't it also apply to that level? Sort of like meditation. Yeah. Meditation is a very basic thing that works. So if you believe in astral projection and stuff, then why wouldn't it also help in that? But
on the same level, though, I will say one of the biggest demonstrations on record that Aleister Crowley ever did. I don't know who he was walking with, but he was walking with someone, and that person asked him to demonstrate magic to him, and so there was a guy walking in front of them, and Aleister started walking the same way as him, to like embody him, or to be a. I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying, but
he was gonna possess him.
No, not possess him. But then he dropped to his knees, and the guy that he was mimicking, that guy slipped and fell.
Oh, so that guy was doing salvia.
Now, that comes from this belief in like chaos magic and stuff that, like, you guys have brought up on the show before that the universe is a hologram, and what is meant by that is that in a hologram, the entire image is contained in every tiny little piece of the image. So if you put your hand in front of the top of a hologram, it won't matter because it can still construct the whole image from any piece of it. And so there's this belief in magic that the entire universe is encoded into every piece of the universe, no matter how small. And that's why things like sigils work and things like what you're saying, like he was trying to manipulate the universe. But I mean, to me, if you look at, I think the best way to look at like how magic can be understood as like a real thing that really affects the world in a non-physical, ethereal way that can't really be argued with is, my three favorite examples are language, race, and money. These are all magic. These are all things that we have created that don't actually exist, but we have put so much energy and ritual behind them that there's no denying that they actually affect people's lives and are a real part of the world. If I try to say, oh, Black Lives Matter, bullshit, race doesn't exist, that's a really insensitive thing to say because, no, race does exist. Black people are getting shot by the police. That's a real thing. If I try to say money doesn't exist, well, why the fuck is Donald Trump president? If I try to say language doesn't exist, how the fuck did I say that sentence? They're like real things, but they're not actually real. They're made up.
Let me ask you this. Do you think that, with that point of view, do you think that knowing the language matters? Do you think that a language that you don't understand affects you also?
It can, yes. And
I'm going to say it definitely affects me because, then I can't understand them.
I mean, I feel like
then
when
I'm confused,
you're confused,
angered.
He's
confused and angered, and I want them out of my country.
Yeah. Hey, wait. What is that thing behind you, Craig? That tapestry. What is that? Can you aim your computer
it's
at that?
my room. It's the sun and the moon and stars and stuff.
Okay. It just looked really like this one over here for a hot second. That's all. The one I have.
but it's not.
It's a Pegasus with a girl on it, but it's
You had
surrounded
to-
by planets and suns.
Willie,
and
you
moons.
had to point it out. I had some credibility going with Wade here, and then you're like, "Oh, what's that tapestry in your room?"
I feel like we're all in an escape room right now.
Pardon me while I spark up
What are the
this
clues on
joint.
that tapestry?
Yeah. What if there was an escape room where the way you had to get out was you had two people talking and you just had to like stop them from talking? That they were both like
Physical
like
violence
this,
allowed?
This episode, just talking about something and didn't let you interject or do anything. And it's like all you had to do was ask to leave.
I mean, it's a little close to home, Willie. And I feel like that on almost every episode. I feel like I've failed. I always just wait until the time limit expires.
Craig feels your pain.
Yeah,
Craig
sure
feels your
door
pain.
opening.
100%.
Well, did you look into? Are you into Thoth at all? Thoth from Egypt.
Yeah. I love ancient Egyptian mythology, and I know that. What's it? Hermes Trismegistus is the. I think in Magick they combine like Thoth, Hermes, and some other god to like make this one god because they're all basically the same archetype that came from like the
Yeah.
same mythological source or something.
Yeah, and they all handed out the same things, which is like writing and numbers and whatnot. But supposedly from Egypt, the Thoth wrote a book, the Book of Thoth, and that book was a book of magic, and supposedly it only existed in the astral plane. So you had to travel within consciousness to find it.
Yo, that's bullshit, man. That's like Jay-Z puts his album out on Tidal. I can't put that shit on my iPod. You're going to put your book out and it's only in the astral plane? What the fuck, man?
He really wants nobody to ever find
Well,
that.
I like having a hard copy of my books. I like to, I want to be able to put it on my shelf.
There's only
I'm
one.
still a hard copy guy. But what do you think about? Because as far as I know, within history and writings and whatnot, and my knowledge of this is all very limited and basically controlled by conspiracy theories, I guess. But there is the Book of Thoth. Supposedly, people question if he was a god or whatnot, and
Just
and
a
then
very
this
modest person.
Book of Magic. But then also there's the Akashic Records, which Edgar Cayce talked about a lot. But also within Christianity, they talked about a lot too. Basically, of the Book of Judgment. Basically, when you die, everything you ever did is in this book, and it
Well,
doesn't
that's the
exist, but it
universe.
does. What's that?
To me, that's the universe. Every single
I agree.
single thing you do is etched into the surface of the universe for all eternity. You can't go back and change it. Time is a constant. It's a static constant. It can't be changed. That's why I feel like it's so important to like not be a dick and be nice, because like every little thing you do, if you're a dick to that person at the gas station, that's in there. That moment in the universe, at that point in space and time, you were a dick to that person at the gas station. For all of eternity, that will be
shame.
what happened at that moment in space and time. Like,
Shame.
I don't know. So to me, that's what the Akashic Records is. It's the universe itself. Like, I don't know. Damn it, Wade, I do sound like a fucking stoner. God damn it. I gotta go take a piss. You guys talk. I'll be right back.
Well,
Give me a beer while you're up, please.
Will do.
All right.
do you guys want to take a break? Should we take a quick break? What time is
yeah,
it?
sure. It's 9. I'm cool with whatever. It just hit midnight over here.
This is a great time to take a break for us. So why don't we take a break and we'll be back. This is Real Life Sci-Fi. We're talking to our friends from the Fairpoint podcast, Nathan and Craig. We'll be back in a second.
All right, so Magic, where did we leave off? Because I was taking a piss.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. We talked about
Portals.
Aleister Crowley a little bit, but we really haven't gone into a definition of what we're talking about with magic. Like
I mean, can you really
you
though?
you gave Aleister's definition. Craig, what do you think of? What do you think about magic? What's your take on it?
I think it's no less viable than any other major religion, I guess.
But do you think that you can do something that affects? I lost the definition in my head, and all I have in my head is that his demonstration of like affecting someone else. Do you feel like you have the power to affect someone else from something that you do?
By sheer force of will?
Well, but like, of course,
Depends. It depends if I have the right sigil, or if like, are you talking about like metaphysically doing it, or like, I could walk up to any guy and just start being an asshole, affect his fucking life.
That's the point. Is where is that line drawn? Because if you shove somebody, you're affecting reality. If you say some harsh words or some nice words to somebody,
I feel like that's an extremely broad definition of magic. You're literally just saying like existence is magic.
Yeah, but you say that, but compare that to plants that just sit there and absorb sunlight and photosynthesize. Compare that to atoms that just bump into each other and then like group to each other and then propel each other away from each other.
Let me interrupt you real quick. Did you watch that Mythbusters episode where they were thinking of burning a plant?
And
wasn't that amazing? They had
it is amazing.
EKG.
Yeah.
Wait, they burnt plants with their minds?
Well, the plant was able to react to their thoughts. Like it sensed that they were thinking about burning it without them actually doing it.
I guess I am a conspiracy theorist because I got to believe that there's something going on. I just don't have the clearance to understand it.
But I mean, like, you're saying it's such low level that like I could say words and that would affect somebody, but that's really not low level. That is like Alan Moore, the comic artist, or Grant Morrison, the comic artist. I'm saying like the fact that we can use our minds, like manipulate symbols within our minds to like form thoughts and have coherency over them by like changing them into symbols rather than just being random fleeting thoughts like hungry, fuck, pretty, ooh, flower, run, jaguar, but actual
because
thoughts.
Those aren't actual, to me those are reactions. Those are survival reactions.
Then we can use symbols to make more complex actual thoughts about the universe, and then use symbols which are like mouth noises that can actually enable us to communicate telepathically. I can take a thought from my head and then expel it out of my mouth towards your ears, and then it goes into your head, and you're like, oh, word, that's the thought you just had. Now I understand it without even trying. That is fucking fascinating, dude, because rocks can't do that.
I've thought to myself before, I don't know if anybody else ever had these thoughts, but like, who decided what words were? Like how you see a table. Oh yeah, that's a table. But like you see the sky and you're like, oh, I know that word is sky. Like who? I guess it just goes back to far beyond our lifetimes.
Well, it's weird because for most people, and I don't mean to judge all. I'm not trying to judge all the listeners. But I'm saying for most people that have grown up by now or in this time or whatever, a lot of this stuff has been given to them. So that they don't necessarily have to think about how or why.
No, silver spoon,
because you're given the thoughts already.
Yeah,
This is what
this is what the definition is.
You're given the, and so exploring something. Of these days, it seems the only thing you can explore is spirituality. But I'm like, no, you can still explore mathematics and the way that it interacts with the cosmos. I mean,
I feel like this is the perfect time for our recurring segment where we check back in with Brendan. What do you think we're talking about, Brendan?
Seems to me like you're discussing possible scientific underpinning for the basis of magic.
That's what I've been discussing.
I wish we were there. We're not there, but that's where I want to be.
But listen,
I'm getting hung up on like words. So
instead of talking about like these very small, like whatever the smallest version of magic is, why don't we talk about like the biggest version of magic and like, like what is the sort of?
I'm glad that we talked about the small, because when you talk about the big, meaning, let's say spells, let's say runes, let's say the power behind an idea, it comes from the small.
Yeah, I think it's important to understand that things you do can affect the universe and reality around you and can change it. Your will can affect it, that you have means with which to affect it. And a lot of times, the means with which you affect it are just simply symbols like language or ideas, economic models, books, stories, just a sentence you say to somebody like, hey man, that really hurt me when you said that. Yo, I ain't gonna say it to you no more, bro. Thanks, dude. I appreciate you. You know, like magic. like that is so then if you extend that to the idea of like creating sigils or casting spells or opening portals, like using symbols to manipulate reality is a real thing. That's why I'm so focused on establishing how amazing it is. The banal, simple ways we do it that we take for granted are actually fascinating and amazing that we've been able to harness such useful tools. And so extending it to that next step of like, oh, well, how about opening portals or casting a spell on somebody or creating a rune or a sigil that will affect the universe in a certain way?
Because, as we all know, sigils are just keys to interdimensional doors.
Well, they're symbols, and I'm saying if you can use symbols to affect reality, it's the next step from that. And I'm not endorsing it or putting it down.
Which is exactly what I just said, but in different words.
I mean, that's I don't know what a sigil is.
A sigil is like
it's a symbol. Keep up. You're gonna get real lost.
Like
today.
a magical rune, like the shit you see, in like you know, like the pentagrams with the little swirly gigs and the dots and the, you know, just like magical.
Picture the in Game of Thrones the drawing that represents the House Stark, you know?
Yeah, the
their
dire
sigil
wolf.
is like...
That's their sigil.
Whatever the wolf with the style of flag and the symbols behind it, whatever, all of that has meaning, and that is their sigil.
But how is that different than a symbol, though?
No, it's not. It is. It is a symbol. The idea of a sigil in magic is that you're creating a symbol and you're trying to put power behind it. And so that power should change things.
So symbols are there, and then sigils are... magically charged symbols,
like a conspiracy theory. Like, I don't know what I'm just going off the cuff, but let's say every country's flag, that there's a belief behind it. Not that like, oh, the 50 states, but that actually those 50 stars actually represent everyone being every individual being a part of the whole.
And that actually is a sigil,
so
because that flag
actually is more meaning behind it.
Yeah, it's
so
a symbolic thing that affects the world.
Oh, so people put so much meaning in that.
So what
flag.
I'm saying is the idea of these two different things working, like the idea that a magician would sit down and would create a magical symbol that was designed to bring himself more power. That would work is it works for the same principles as McDonald's sitting down and designing a sigil that they're going to mass put out there to influence people. Like corporations are using magic, they just don't know it. I'm not saying there's some conspiracy. No,
I think a lot of corporations are aware of the magic.
Some of them might be.
When you talk about symbols. Okay, language, yes, we think we understand each other, you know, because we have words and we agree on the meanings of them. But when you take symbols, I believe that certain symbols have meaning to you that we can't necessarily comprehend. So, but when you see that symbol, it does something to your being, to your existence.
Yes, and what I mean is, even if advertisers,
the triangle, that's very simple. But there's a lot of in the conspiracy theory world. A lot of companies have chosen their symbols because they represent a communication that they of power over you.
They've noticed,
like the golden arches.
They've noticed that it works, and I think it works for the same reason that people who practice magic say that they're making runes and symbols works. Like, I think the idea that McDonald's is going to manipulate you with images and sounds, and that actually does work, is that it's the same idea and the same basis for the idea that magicians operate on when they're like, I'm going to cast a spell or make a sigil or whatever.
So you mean it's magic that when I see like a New England Patriots logo that I get violently sick and
Yes.
have diarrhea.
Yes, absolutely.
That's magic.
Absolutely.
We are
because
affected
it's-
by the same magic.
Yes, absolutely, though.
The Patriots give me diarrhea as well.
I guess I believe in magic then.
Yes!
I
My
saw
goal,
a 10-year-old girl
was
today
to get Willie
in a
to get
Patriots
Wade
hat.
to just see some
He went so
realism.
he performed a couple rituals last week, and now I'm a believer.
No, I didn't. I did not
Shit.
perform rituals. I don't actually see. The thing is,
The final one was charging up a picture of Bill Belichick.
I find this stuff very interesting, but I don't actually partake in it very much.
Have you
It's-
guys ever saged a new house or anything like that?
Oh, I've definitely burned sage a lot, but I don't partake in actually
I know
trying
that
to do
that's-
a lot of magic, though.
I haven't. Well, I have, but I was 13 and incense was cool.
I'm sorry, dude.
what about
I
vision
sage.
boards? You
I
guys
do.
ever do
Some
vision
things just
boards?
work.
Have any of you done a vision board?
No, but I know what you're talking about.
Have you done
yeah.
one, Wade?
No, I don't. I haven't done a vision board.
A wish it, want it, be it board is what you should call it.
Well, I feel like those are the same principles of magic, though.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, some people could
And
argue
why
that,
not practice magic?
like, I don't know, just
in
the
case.
universe working in itself is magic. So, like, yeah, of course, you're not going to get this job unless you put forth effort into wanting to get that job. And that's exactly what you have to do even after you make a spell to try to get this job. You still have to do good on your own.
And the thing. Go ahead, Willie. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, like that concept to me is though the religion that I'm trying to write, which is whatever you believe works because you believe it.
Oh,
So-
you're starting your own religion? Hold on.
I've been wanting to. I mean, I got to write it out, and but
Eat your heart out, Kirk
the
Cameron.
religion is belief, because the reason why Christianity, look, most people, whatever their religious convictions are, or I say convictions, but for people that strongly believe in their religion, normally they've had an experience that made them believe. But I feel like that experience, you shouldn't just give up to that religion because that experience can happen over and over. It's because you believed in it, not because of the religion. So you give your power to the religion because you didn't think that came from you, but you are strong enough to be your own religion.
You're basically saying that actually belief can actually empower.
yeah.
Like
What's the words the thing that I always forget that we ask in the beginning in the WoW scale, the
Superstition.
superstitions actually are real
If you
for
believe
anybody
it
that
hard
believes
enough.
in them.
Ask Wade Boggs.
Yeah.
What? Because he shit himself that one time?
No, because he ate chicken
No,
wings
that was
for every
Brett.
game.
Brett.
Oh shit.
What's his name? George Brett.
George Brett
Yep.
shit himself.
George Brett
In an
walking
Arby's.
around talking like everyone shits themselves. Yeah, I shit myself again last night.
That was the fourth time I shit myself. We don't stress enough how much he loves Arby's.
I love
But I feel like all
anyone
of
who
you
knows who
guys-
George Brett is and Aleister Crowley.
Oh,
I
I'm
feel
with
like
you.
all you guys are saying is the secret. You're just all talking about
The secret is real. The secret is real. It's all the same. It's all based on your own
But
personal
that's
belief.
magic. Though?
Yeah, and
Just
you don't
positive
need-
thinking is magic.
Yeah.
Everybody, you don't need to buy a book that was on Dr. Phil just to be able to achieve this either. Just, look up some magic books online.
Yeah, I don't know about the
But
secret.
here's my perspective: is that like most people don't think about how they affect the universe.
No, what I'm asking you to do is not to be like, yes, I can achieve whatever I want by positive thinking. What I'm saying is, I want you to reflect on how amazing it is that particles bumped into each other enough times to make this weird organic mess of a creature that can somehow formulate will and then change and reorganize and reorder the universe from its will. It can create
Listen,
technology that
Quoting you is I loved listening to you say this, but like my question, based on quoting you, which I'm not quoting you, is has there ever been anything in the history of existence that recognized what they were? Like all these atoms got together and built themselves up, and they all teamed up from amoebas, and they created a human, and all of a sudden, whatever the fuck I am is like aware of what I'm made of. Is there another being in the history of the universe that said, "Oh, I'm made up of these things"? Like, oh, that's crazy.
That's amazing. Yeah.
I
Who
mean,
knows?
maybe we don't know what's going on in the mind of a cat.
Oh, cats know.
Cats definitely don't know what they are. I think cats
the
know
mirror
what they
test
are.
is the best thing, you know. I mean, mirrors in front of cats, dogs, and babies. It's like it's all on the same level. Where it's like, you know, they don't get it, and it's sad.
Oh, cats get it. Cats just don't care.
Yeah. Haven't we ever watched Garfield? You learn lessons.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever experienced another animal being aware of their existence?
Yeah, every animal is aware of its existence all the time.
Do you?
I feel like they're not. I feel like
They just exist.
They exist, and I believe that they have emotions, but they're not like, if you put a mirror in front of it.
Do you mean?
This is me?
Do you
That's
mean?
me.
Are they questioning their existence?
Yeah.
I mean, no, because
They're not
that's-
as dumb as us.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one thing that we don't have an advantage on the rest of the
You know
fucking
what?
animal kingdom is that we're constantly worried about what we're actually supposed to be here to do.
You know what fascinates me? And Wade, I would love to hear your opinion on this. I mean, Willie, you too. I'd love to hear everybody's. Craig, too. Not to leave you out.
I
But,
mean, like we talk all the time.
what fascinates me is like the smartest animals on Earth. So we'll say like humans, apes, chimpanzees, dolphins,
Octopi.
octopi. Yeah, octopi are definitely some of the smartest. Do they apply to this? Pigs? Yeah, I don't know, but like it seems to me that like the smartest animals seem to have the greatest capacity for good and bad. Like they all like humans are responsible for both the greatest things and the worst things that any animal has ever done. And then look at dolphins. They'll rescue drowning people. They'll take retarded whales that have been abandoned by their families into their fold and let them join their pack and take care of them, make sure they don't get hurt. But at the same time, they'll gang rape anything in the ocean. They'll go find sharks and beat
They're
the fuck out of
European
them
dolphins.
just for the hell of it.
Yeah,
Look at chimpanzees.
This is the weird thing, though, is that like all of your examples, though, we created good and evil. Maybe there's no such thing as
That's what I mean. But like no other animal seems like only like the smartest animals are the ones that seem to do the things that are the most cruel and the most empathetic. So like chimpanzees, they'll take care of little baby kittens and be like, oh, this poor little kitten, I'm not gonna let it die. But they'll go find other chimpanzees and bludgeon them to death for no reason. They don't need
jerk
food.
off
They don't.
with the frog.
Well, I mean, we don't know what the reason was. Perhaps
But-
there was an infidelity
Same thing with
situation.
Humans will like put together charities to save endangered species, but they'll also, I don't know, burn fossil fuels and destroy the world. Like it seems like the smarter the animal, the more fucked up shit it does and the more good shit it does. Like it's just something I've noticed that I find fascinating is that because they have a greater understanding of their power of will and the ability to affect the universe. I don't know.
What do you guys think in this realm of magic? I know that I'm like totally changing I'm just, you said all this stuff and then I'm basically like ignoring it and starting it. And then like, oh,
It ties back.
I know that I'm aware of what I'm doing. I'm just,
Well, let me answer real
Yeah,
quick.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I
Thank
think
you.
what it comes down to is like it's the kid burning ants with his Sherlock Holmes magnifying glass. Like it's not necessarily an empathetic thing. It's more of like a power thing. It's like, oh, I can do this because this thing can't stop me from doing it, and it's because I'm smarter than it and because I'm bigger than it. And like when dolphins rape somebody, like
they're
Willie was
bigger
saying,
and
like
stronger.
who knows if that's really a negative thing. I mean, I guess it's a I don't know. Do they
the
know?
best
You heard
sentence?
it here
I'm
first.
sorry. Best sentence in the world. When dolphins rape somebody, I mean, like, who knows if that's a negative thing? No, but that's recognizing the power of will. The kid with the magnifying glass.
Because my point is, do dolphins know that the whatever they're raping doesn't like it? You know what I mean? So empathy is a weird thing. Like when a monkey kills another monkey, I don't know if he goes like, "Oh, I'm like fucking destroying this guy and I love it," the way that like a human serial killer would.
But it doesn't. But it also doesn't do it the same way that a spider would. It thinks about it a little. It definitely thinks about it more than a spider killing a fly. You know.
But what I was going to get into was basically when you look at sociopaths or people that don't have empathy. I guess
I don't look at them. I don't make eye contact with those people. Are you kidding me?
That's when you swap souls.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's when you swap.
Never look a sociopath in the eyes.
Oh yeah, I do have that one superstition.
But
that and Bloody Mary.
I think most of the, and I don't know if this is correct, but what I've gotten from my understanding of these people, these sociopaths, are basically like they got into a system of enjoying themselves in a way that was so personal that you forget about everyone else, and you are unaware that there is anyone else other than you. So it's like you get so tied into your own head that you have no empathy for anyone, and you're so I don't want to just say it's narcissistic, but
Well, I mean that's basically like being like playing Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah,
where you're just going through and doing whatever you want because no one else exists.
yeah.
The next thing you know, you get
know it's
elected
like
president and fucking...
Yeah.
Sorry. Low-hanging fruit. Got it. Hey, this is what you get for free, guys. All right. Sorry.
No, I feel like Craig was about to say something. And
I know.
I know,
I
it was
cut him
something
off for a really cheap Donald Trump joke that didn't need to be made. It's been made by so many more people before me.
It's okay. It was something about really cheap Grand Theft Auto jokes. So.
Oh no, come on. That's more refreshing than a Donald Trump joke. At
Oh
this
no,
point.
no, it's already out of my mind. I've been having this weird memory thing lately, but that's a different story.
But do you guys think? I mean, like, because we're talking about magic, and I'm still sort of like I'm like in a gray area of what we're actually talking about because so far we've just been talking about The Secret, for lack of a better term. So what I mean, like.
Wish it, want it, magic.
I'm not saying if you think positive, you'll end up. I'm saying like the literal power of like willpower itself is a magical thing itself. Like we like look at what humans are doing is like almost like amateur godhood. Like we have created an entirely different environment. Like the rules of evolution still apply. I hate when people say like, oh, humans are de-evolving. No, we're not de-evolving. We've just completely modified the environment and created our own. And now the process of evolution is occurring according to the environment in which we're in which we don't need to not become fat, lazy assholes because we have
evolution
machines
has
to
just
keep us
changed
alive.
now.
Like, yeah.
It's slightly altered the course.
There's no de-evolution. But I mean, like, look at that. Like, we've created...
But don't worry, because a lot of us are going to die soon.
Like this world, though, like we can all agree, that this world is bullshit and fake. These houses, these political offices, job titles, like the four of us all kind of recognize that that's a game we all play. But at the same time, you can't deny that it's also real. And that to me is what magic is. When you can make something fake that becomes that real, that it's not Slender Man causing a couple kids to stab a little girl, but it's literally like...
But like when you see money, there are more feelings attached to that than seeing a family member.
Yes, and when I say the word fuck...
I don't want to admit to that, but,
when I say words in a sentence, you can hear it in your head and it makes sense to you. Or when a racist white cop sees a black kid, he shoots him because we made up this fake thing called race. Like, when you can make something fake and make it so real that it actually is changing reality, and it actually has become a real part of reality because our consciousness is a real part of reality. It does exist in a way, at least. I don't
Always
know.
bringing it back to the consciousness.
It's late in New York, guys. So I might not have endings to my sentences. They might just end with me being like, so I don't know, somebody interrupt me.
He was waiting for it, and we're just like, no, go on, go on. Yeah.
I mean, I guess I think like I'm sort of hip to it in a weird way. Like I don't know if you will like the way that I'm seeing this, but like I guess the way I'm interpreting this is like Wall-E is not a cautionary tale. Like it's more of like if we can get fat and have robots do everything for us, like why shouldn't we? You know, because we're not getting killed by predators anymore. So it's fine. It's good.
Willie, I'm sorry. I'm on Wade's side now.
I'm not making any moral judgments on it. I'm just saying it is the way it is. Whether I'm not saying it's good or bad, because like, who was it, Wade or Willie, that said that we made up good and bad? One of you said it a minute ago. You both probably believe
Willie,
it. So.
Willie
I
said
said that, but my thing is this: is like, listen, we have the luxury of discussing this, but I just not to be doomsdayish or whatever, but obviously, the way things are going, and I'm not trying to put the fear of the Cold War back into America, but there is going to be another big war that affects us, because all the wars that we've been in, that we're currently still in, are just us doing things in other people's countries, and back
do
home
you
we have
mean?
no idea what's going on.
We have a totally stable and level-headed leader of our great country. So what? I don't know what you could possibly What do you mean?
Yeah.
I mean, he's stable because he's got enough. His center of balance is low enough that nobody can knock him over.
I'm very hard to knock over.
If you're
Just try it. Come at me, bro.
If you follow like the Rothschilds bank, what's the word for taking over everything?
Monopoly?
No, the old Magna Carta, whatever I don't know.
Extortion.
At any rate, if you follow the fact that whoever we're America's enemies with are people that don't have Rothschild banks, that's what the next wars are going to be, which are Afghanistan, Iraq, and North Korea.
Yeah.
And so, what's weird to me is to picture this one world government of the future, which is what it seems. What I know that this sounds like a conspiracy theory thing, but I think a lot of people want this one world government, because then we won't have to be at war, because we just have to follow the rules. And
all right, so quick magic break. Let's get a quick hot takes. One world governments, yay or nay? Go.
Oh God.
I'm 100% against it, because it is. I mean, to me, it is 1984. I don't agree with our leaders. I don't agree with our rulers. I don't think that any of them earned the right to be our rulers, and most of them weren't selected, whether you believe in elections or not. And we basically, for most of the world runs off of blood.
I
who is the
recognize the concerns and problems with one world governments, and definitely think it should be definitely taken into account, because it's a very serious issue. But eventually, if humanity's going to like keep progressing and surviving, we're gonna have to have a one world. Like I can't imagine a couple hundred years in the future we've still got a bunch of different little countries warring with each other and shit.
I 100% agree with you, but then you try to pick one person in the history of that's around today that that you think deserves to be that leader.
Bruce Campbell.
Is there somebody you know that is noble enough to care about every quote unquote race, every different class of person? Is there anybody in politics today that tries to stand
Well,
up.
no. I mean, first of all, don't quantify or don't qualify it with people who are in politics because they suck.
But that's who
You
we're
say-
all voting for.
Well, yeah, but if we're talking about a one world government, obviously the leader is Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd is the nicest, coolest guy.
I agree
Oh
with you,
my
but most
God.
people won't agree with us.
And he
I think
ages the best.
Yeah, I think everybody. I don't know. Maybe there's some Bollywood actor that everyone likes, but I
All
think
right.
universally,
I think,
Paul
I think
Rudd
Snoop
would
Dogg's
be.
got more cred than Paul Rudd.
Well, I think Snoop Dogg is too much of a stoner.
But I think that's what
But
we need.
yeah, Snoop Dogg's pretty chill though. Like Paul Rudd can get a bit manic in some roles, you know.
Well, yeah, but that's a. You just defined it. It's a role.
It's a role.
The one world
Isn't
government.
that what president
Yeah,
is?
isn't that what our president is right now?
Picture
Like,
the
oh,
one world government election. It's the biggest popularity contest of the globe.
Oh
I mean,
my
we're
God.
already to that.
This is
Listen,
going to be a new episode of Black Mirror. I swear it.
we're already doing that. Kid Rock is like, he's doing really well.
But Nathan on YouTube's doing better. Whoever the fuck Nathan is, I'm just coming up with a name. I don't know. YouTube.
Yeah,
I
it
tried
just
to
so
come up with a
happened.
YouTube
Just so
star.
happened.
Hey, Nathan Kappesser, he's got a YouTube channel. Look it up.
like the thing is, we already have a reality television guy in the fucking Oval Office.
Fucking seriously.
But Trump
Now a
versus
rock
John
star.
Cena, I think John Cena would win.
Well,
by
no,
based
I mean,
on
like-
votes.
Let's
But the
be
thing
fair.
is-
Celebrities. I mean, celebrities become politicians a lot. You got obviously Arnold. You got Jesse the Body Ventura.
Right.
Jesse
Al
the Body
Franken.
is my favorite. Well, whatever. Go on.
But I mean,
he's,
you know,
he's
it's just-
amazing.
And they're not. I'm not going to say whether I agree or disagree right now with those guys' policies, but I mean, they're not all just crazy narcissists.
No, but that's the problem with this system is it's like, oh, I was in Platoon, so a million people are going to vote for me. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. It seems
Like,
to
it's-
me,
You know what?
it's-
I don't like his policies about healthcare, but I did like Platoon.
it seems to me like there's
Loved it.
there's four types of there's four types of people that get involved in politics. And I used to say that there were three types of people that get involved in politics, but that was really, really naive of me. It's four types of people. There's people with military backgrounds, there's people with business backgrounds, there's people with activist backgrounds, and there's people with celebrity backgrounds.
Yeah.
And
Well,
the only
I feel
person
bad for the early days because they were just military. Go on. Sorry.
I'm just saying the only one I give a shit to get behind is if you have an activist background. Like, unless you're in it because you care about the way that our world is governed and like the way it affects people, then I don't care. If you're in it because you have military experience or you're in it because you have business experience, like
To me, military experience is football experience. Like, wow,
Yeah.
I've always been at the top, and
Like,
I
hey,
might as well keep going.
I recognize the value you have for our society, but I'm not going to vote for you for president or anything. I'm only going to actually waste time waiting in line to vote for somebody if I feel like you're involved in it because you really care about what types of policies we have and the way we govern people.
Yeah,
and
what's
like,
important to me, like if you picture, I've thought about this a lot. When I look at every document that our forefathers created, they really had a lot of perspective of what was to come. Not necessarily just like, oh, let's try to think about everybody. It's like there's a lot of foresight in everything that was written,
and it's a career.
and I can't imagine any of my. I don't know if this isn't really a judgment, but you know, I can't imagine anybody that I've met being able to come up with that.
What,
They
the
they were historically and they were just amazing.
to come up with what? The Constitution?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like all that stuff written and taking in the fact that everyone is owed, you know, that they have inalienable rights. there's a lot of foresight in that because they didn't have to do that, and they
Right.
didn't come from that.
But I think one of the biggest problems is like being a politician is a career. And most 90% of these people, again, I'm not trying to go with numbers, but are just in it to further their career. Like, even if they started off for the right
I
reasons.
agree with you. For
they're just
most people in politics, it's a resume.
I want a promotion. And you know what sucks is
And
like,
what's better
you
on
know
your
what?
resume?
How come I can't go to work and yell at everybody about how my coworkers suck at their job and get a promotion out of it? Politics is the only fucking career where you can yell about how your coworkers suck at their job and instead of getting fired, you get promoted. But like, it's a promotion. Like in a lot of like Aboriginal societies, the leaders had to take a vow of poverty because you were supposed to want to be a leader to help get your community through things, not for your own personal gain. So unless you were
and
willing,
that's an amazing thing right there. To me, to have a one world government, I think bring that back up because we pay these positions almost too much, where I know that they don't get paid an amazing amount.
But it's for
they still-
life.
let's do what Wade said. If we have a one world government, fuck world leaders. I hate having world leaders. Let's let the robots just do it for us.
Did I say? when
Wade's
did I
like,
say
wait, did I say that?
There's
Did
a
I
guy.
say one world government with robots? We made you a Willy.
Oh, fuck.
Well, listen. Here's the thing. I think, man, there's so many things to address right now.
I know.
I think one is the movie Bowfinger. Like Bowfinger touched. It was like the early '90s, and what Eddie Murphy did was he ran on a ticket because he just had the same name as a politician who was already in office who died. And fuck, I keep moving your table.
And that was enough.
And that was enough. He got voted back. And like that's what people are doing now. Kid Rock I don't know what he's running for.
What the
I
fuck
don't know
is
if it's
Kid
a
Rock
Senate thing
doing?
or what.
You keep bringing up
He's
Kid
running
Rock.
for
Senate.
something.
What?
Well, it's possible. He's not, he hasn't, like, he's not officially doing it, right? He just said, like, hey, I could do good.
I don't know,
wanted
but
to.
his numbers are like through the roof. Like if he did run, like he would probably get elected. Just
Of course,
and it's
because
the
nobody
it's the
knows
same
how to
thing
bow
as
with a bow without the
Jesse-
bang to dang to diggy diggy.
Well, the bang to the diggy diggy, chump the chumpy whatever the fuck.
Is this
Like-
let's change it to tub thumping. That's a better song.
But the thing is, it's like so many people will vote for him just because they've heard that name before, and I feel like that's how. And like Al Franken, fucking Jesse Ventura,
You know
Arnold
what's funny is
Schwarzenegger.
that none of you guys has said Ronald Reagan. That's how powerful this is that none of you guys have said Ronald Reagan. He did a movie with a monkey.
He did do a movie with a monkey. He's a cowboy actor.
I think
right.
that the difference is he was like a really hacky actor that nobody really liked.
No, that's what
Like,
I'm
yeah.
saying, though. It
Well.
equates. He's on the same level as Jesse Ventura, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Whoa. Easy up on the body.
Yeah.
All these people were listing. Like, I'm just saying. Like,
Jesse's,
it's funny that
okay, well.
it's such a pervasive thing that we forget that Ronald Reagan himself was a celebrity that got elected president.
I mean,
But he
I
wasn't.
did-
He wasn't a. People knew who he was because there weren't that many choices back then. That didn't mean that everybody loved him. I've never heard anybody say Ronald Reagan was a great actor. I've never heard
yeah.
that in his. And
Name
never.
3 Ronald Reagan movies. Go. I'll wait.
well, you know,
The
Back
one
to the
with
Future.
the monkey.
What? Back to the Future. That's the only one I can name. Ronald Reagan.
Let's just
The
start
actor?
naming ones where people played Ronald Reagan in a movie.
yeah. Well, name 3 Jimmy Stewart movies that weren't directed by Hitchcock.
No.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's like the more time progresses, like I don't know what he was, but I do think that's the same thing. It's the cult of personality. Like I don't know, and fucking people hate him as a president, right? Ronald Reagan, like people despise him as a
Oh,
president.
he's loved
Yeah.
by Republicans, man. No, he's like one of the Republican
oh, of course,
Reaganomics,
of course.
man.
Yeah,
Reaganomics.
yeah.
It's just
But I
like
think-
that was
but I
killer,
think,
right?
But I think the longer the more we
Disconnect
distance
from it,
ourselves
yeah.
from that, the more we can like put that through a lens and go like, oh no, he wasn't that good. Like,
Yeah, you look at Star Wars and Oliver North.
but he was the beginning of the end. Like, he was the beginning of like the worst part of politics. Like, everybody has sucked since then. Like, Democrat or Republican, everyone has been super shitty.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like let's go back before him, and we could probably say that they were pretty shitty too.
I mean, my belief is that JFK was the last real president, and everybody since then has just been going through the motions. And
Yeah, man, they're world
Run
leaders.
by
They're not
the
humanitarians.
But do you think any of this has to do with magic?
Not at all, which is kind of, this is fun.
well, I mean, my thing is, the reason why I can kind of say yes is because money is the biggest magic of all time.
Listen, you can't keep the stock market. You can't keep the stock markets going without yearly praises to Mammoth.
Mammon?
Mammon.
Wait.
Mammon? No,
That's
I
the
like
one.
mammoth, like woolly mammoth. I want to pray to a woolly mammoth. That'd be awesome,
Sacrifices.
dude. Let's make a Willie. Can your god, the god of your religion, be a woolly mammoth? That'd be dope.
No, because people choose other dinosaurs over woolly mammoths.
Also, woolly mammoths are coming back. They're gonna make those again.
I want to thank you for at least giving the thought consideration. We're in the Mammoth
listen.
party.
in my religion, you are the god.
Me? Yes.
Every
Dude, you are
individual
just like
is the god.
so like
No,
oh,
it's
you're
just
like
you-
sucking
it's
my
just
ego's
you.
dick
It's
tonight. I
just you,
love it.
Nathan.
Everybody's body is their own
Nathan,
temple.
Nathan,
They are
you're
the
the
Osiris.
god.
Hold on. What's up,
Nathan,
Wade?
you're the god. You're the god.
I'm the
in
god.
Willie's religion. Listen, this is a surprise. We set this up because we wanted to do a podcast with you. It's really, we're not recording any of this. Like, all we wanted to do was say that you're the god, Nathan, of Willie's.
Well, we couldn't just tell you. We had to like let you feel, let you learn it.
I know this was fun for you, but I can't help but feel a little jealous that I'm not the god.
Well, you're the vice president.
I'm the
You're
vice
the vice god.
I'm vice god of Nathan's Wonderland temple.
Yeah, but you could be like a Cheney or a Pence, you know? Don't worry.
I'll train real hard.
Do you guys have do you have any examples in your life of magic happening?
No.
Have you been responsible? Do you actively use magic?
Not really, but I mean, yeah, but I think everybody does, you know, the way I view magic, as I've said, but like I kind of stay away from it. I have this thing where I feel like I should have faith in the universe, and by faith I don't mean blind belief in something, but I mean like trust. And I should just kind of take control of my destiny to an extent, but not
that's
overexert
exactly
it.
what I'm getting at, though. Is that like I have examples of that within this past year, because I've made decisions in my mind and then they've happened and I didn't actually. I don't know. Like for example, I was at a party and I was having a conversation with someone, and I was dating my wife at the time. We were just dating, and I was just talking about how the future means nothing to me unless I have a child, because that's how I can affect the future. Any conversation I have isn't going to affect anybody. I mean, maybe it will, but only because of themselves being a part of the conversation. You can't teach anybody anything. Nobody's going to listen to you about anything. You might inspire someone, but they have to be ready to be inspired, you know? And all I said was that I can't be a part of the future without having a child. And then honestly, the next week I found out we were having a baby.
That's amazing.
I know that other things needed to happen, but the last couple of years of my life have been me thinking about what I want and then them just happening.
This is a part of the show. This happens every episode where Willie brags about getting laid a whole bunch.
At least once. At least once.
But
you know,
Willie,
I just
This is
Go on.
this is the real decider. Were you practicing and actually doing spells to get laid?
Oh, thank God. I thought you were going to ask him something else.
No.
So is it really magic?
But I
Or is it just you wishing it, wanting it, and then being it?
What are we? Okay, hold on. Let's find a way to ground ourselves a little bit here. Where were we?
well, the idea was that
using
was
magic.
Yeah.
to me, magic is the secret. So what do you want? Are you getting what you want? Are you envisioning what you want, and then it's happening? The next time we see each other, I'm gonna have a TV show.
That's awesome. That's amazing.
Okay.
That's
but we
fucking
haven't
amazing.
ever seen each other. This doesn't count, does it?
No.
Well, we're seeing each other.
Okay.
So you got a TV show, huh?
Yeah.
That's congratulations,
Congrats.
man. That's the coolest shit.
I can't wait to listen to you say congratulations later.
wait. So you don't? I don't. What is happening?
Wait, do you have a TV show?
No. But I'm gonna get one.
No,
Why-
yeah,
no,
okay.
well, he did
So
say-
that's the secret.
That's the secret. By
Okay.
the time we see them next, he will have one. Magic debunked?
Okay, no, so that's the secret.
I know.
Saying it and willing it into existence. And that's a component of magic.
But I guess what I'm saying is this. Okay, like picture this. When I was coaching some girls' basketball team, there was the last minute we were ahead, last 30 seconds, whatever, and then we were ahead, and then one of the girls was like, "Don't foul, don't foul," and I was just like, "No. This is the wrong way to think about it. This isn't the magic because you are perpetuating a
negative idea, yeah.
but the subject is foul,
Yep.
and so so you have to say no.
Succeed,
Play-
not don't fail.
Yeah. And so I guess my lesson in that is it's all perspective, and I feel like a lot of people. What am I talking about? A lot of people within our personal lives, within our minds, we mostly perpetuate the negative idea instead of the positive idea. Don't foul. Don't get fired.
Mm-hmm.
Not that that's a thing. Don't get fired. Nobody's thinking that. But I just don't have good examples of the negative versions of things, where it's like, oh, don't lose your job. Don't.
No, yeah, I do all the time.
Instead of focusing on the positive versions of everything.
I was on Facebook the other day, and it was like, how to come up with your rap name, MC plus your greatest fear. And I was like, MC, one day your anxiety is gonna get you fired. Yeah, it doesn't really have a ring to it.
That was a bad meme you did.
No,
MC failed writer.
Oh man, yeah, that's
MC
another one.
Death. That's my name. That sucks. What a dumb
MC
idea.
Death. Already taken. Already
MC
taken
Death
by a
is great.
15-year-old in the 90s.
Right.
He listens to ICP a lot. Wade, I want to ask you, I mean, this is loosely connected to magic. How do you feel in general about the idea that there may be entities of some sort sharing this space with us that are not necessarily what you would quantify as physical? Do you think that is an impossibility?
Well, when you put it like that, no.
Okay. Sorry,
you-
so I phrased the question in a way that you... Okay.
It seems like you really set it up to hear what you wanted to.
Okay, fair enough. But no, it's because I really want to talk to you about that, I guess.
Or he just wanted to get you.
Yeah, you got your journalism. Man. I think I don't. Well, it depends on what you're talking about. If you're talking about ghosts or what, like define like entities that aren't physical.
Well, I think the idea that, like, that's why I don't like the idea of ghosts. Like, I think the idea that, like, if a door slams in your house, you're like, oh, it's the spirit of a dead person. Or if like you see a light in the sky, you're like, oh, it's a spaceship. Like, is just this cultural thing. But I think that there are things that happen, and possibly other like things which I don't know how to, like, entities, you know what I mean? Like conscious, whether they're animals, or like the idea that there could be an animal. Like if a door slams in your house, maybe there's just some animal we haven't discovered yet that just
What if there was basically an invisible bird?
it doesn't interact with light the same way, and
The look on Wade's face right now is just like,
it seems weird, and of course it's weird, but I mean, like, there's a lot of weird things that exist. There's creatures which wrap themselves in silk and then come out as entirely different creatures with wings that can fly. That's fucking weird.
But I guess to expand on what you're saying, it's easy to say, it's easy to throw science around, but the visual perspective of the universe, the visual spectrum of the universe is what we can perceive is actually not even close to what's actually out there.
No, it's just light bouncing off shit.
The way that all of our everything physical about us and the way we perceive the universe isn't the way the universe is. It's just the way we perceive it. Meaning there are other things out there that we can't perceive. But
yes.
we write it off as if it doesn't exist, and that's not good science. Our perceptions do not determine the universe. It's just how we see it.
Agreed, but the problem is it's also not good science to just like buy into, like, good science has to be like quantified and tested and repeatable. So like a lot of these things aren't repeatable. We don't have good science for it. But I do think
I agree, but like on the quantum level, and string theory and all this stuff, we can't even come up with the equation. We can't even comprehend. Well, I don't know, that sounds so fucking lame. I always say things like this, but like I always want to put it into perspective that what our current science is a result of people thinking and trying to figure stuff out. But that doesn't mean that we may not even be close to the nature of reality.
Yeah, it's extrapolation mostly, and it's good extrapolation, which has been pretty useful. But yeah, of course, keep our minds open, because there's always more to the picture, I guess, than you're seeing at that moment. Holy shit, it's getting late and I'm forgetting words.
We got to wrap it up here. I think no, just because we're over like an hour 30 at this point, and so we gotta kind of have to do sort of our final thoughts. And my final thought would be that, like, we talked a lot about like manifestations of like beliefs and stuff like that, and like whatever the secret is, like whatever that is, and meditation and stuff like that. But then also now at the 0 hour, I'm asked about invisible cats who will close my door, which I feel like refutes most of what we talked about. But I will say that, like, I don't believe in those things. I think if I'm in my house alone and the the door closes,
all we had to do was stop 10 minutes earlier, and you would have had them.
Invisible cats. It'd be so cool, though.
So what do you guys? I guess like let's do like just a little sort of thesis synopsis to end off, and why don't we let's go with Willie first, because he's a little long-winded.
Yeah, and I'll try to be quick. My thing is, I feel like the magic of your life is, I always say this. This only refers to Americans, because I can only relate to the people that I don't think I relate to. That you're trapped in your head. Whatever your universe is, and no matter what your life is, you're trapped in your head. Whatever you manifest is the little things that are trapped in your head. And this is me projecting, and maybe this is me. Maybe I complain too much about my little small existence. But I feel like most people that I run into aren't happy with their life, and everything's annoying to them, and that the problem with that is that most of their life that they're living is them not being happy with anything that's happening to them, and they feel like they're not in control. And so they're wasting the magic of their life by just focusing on the things that they don't like. And most people, I feel like I'm very happy. I know I complain about a lot of stuff, but throughout my life, I'm happy throughout the day. I'm having a good time. I'm coming up with dumb shit in my head and getting lost and making up stupid sentences, and I get lost in my day, and I feel like most people don't, because they're lost in their anger. And listen, I have anger issues. I know that I have anger issues, but I'm just saying that I feel like the magic comes from you being able to enjoy yourself.
I've got to interrupt.
I've got to interrupt. On a future that
I just have to interrupt to say that, like, as a listener of the podcast, this is great to me to be able to see it happening, to see Wade, to just watch Wade while you talk. And he's like, yep, this is why I let Willie go first. And it's just, I'm sorry the listeners can't. I'm referencing a visual on a podcast, which is an amateur thing to do as a professional. But
my thing is that this is the lamest fucking thing in the world. But have fun in your little shitty day, because your little shitty day is going to repeat itself.
I second have fun in your
no,
shitty
that's the
little
meaning
existence.
of life. That's the meaning of life. Have fun in your little shitty day. What else you got?
Find, I guess then that's magic.
That's not depressing though. That's fucking beautiful.
Wait, hold on. I will say this though: is it like I feel like I'm gearing up to do some big thing in my life, and I don't know what that is yet. But like, there are things that I'm unhappy with, and I'm trying to pick and choose what is important enough for me to take a step towards.
Dude, keep at it, man.
Like, I'm 40, but my life is I still don't know what I am or what I want to do, but there's going to be something big. And maybe, of course, it's just big to my perspective, not to you or anybody else, but
Everything's
not
big.
I'm not happy, and I want to make some changes.
Hey.
Not with me, but with the universe that my kid is going to live in. And maybe that's just my perspective. Maybe that's all it is. But I think that bigger things need to be changed.
Use your will to the best power you can. That's what you can do. Wade, what's your perspective on the magic then? That's you, Willie.
Oh no, I did mine.
You did yours.
Already.
Okay, then it's Craig's turn.
No, listen. I want to give Craig the last word because he hasn't spoken so much. You should go, and then Craig needs to get the last word.
Okay. It's all bullshit. I just wanted to promote my podcast.
Well, Craig, go ahead.
Last word.
Well, I mean, isn't that the magic that we're speaking? Craig, go ahead and do the last word.
Hell yeah, Aleister Crowley on these bitches. I'm out. Drop the mic.
I'm just like super pumped I didn't have to swallow any cum.
When would you have had to swallow cum?
No, that's what Aleister Crowley did.
Oh.
It was a big thing.
Well, probably.
It was a big thing.
What?
That was, and their plasm. Whatever.
It's a powerful thing because of yeah.
Let's check
we
back
didn't
in
even
with
talk
Brendan.
about all
Let's
the
check
sex
back
magic
in.
nonsense stuff.
Why don't we do a recurring segment? Let's check back in with Brendan. See what we're talking about right now, Brendan.
Well, I heard semen. It seems like in this wrap-up section, we've heard a lot about self-actualization as that being the true magic. Is the self-act? So what does that have to do with the swallowing of the cum? That's my confusion. That's my question. That's the real magic we should be exploring.
I think that's the listener's question.
Could have
also.
talked about Aleister Crowley this whole time, but instead we talked about magic being lifting a beer bottle.
All right, guys, do your plug.
Oh man, our plugs: secretroommultimedia.com.
At Fairpoint Pod on Twitter.
Yeah, you can hit us up on Twitter. You can find us on Facebook. We've got Fairpoint Podcast. We've got Fair Enough Podcast, Sylph Radio Podcast. And just go to secretroommultimedia.com. That's where you can find it all.
much easier.
That song that you showed me that I was so emotionally attached to. How do you find that?
It's an episode of Fairpoint Podcast. That's episode 112. But you can also find it on YouTube. You can search for Fair 20. It was our 420 special. Anywhere you can find podcasts, look for Fairpoint Podcast, and it's episode 112.
That episode, that song, I thought was very inspiring. I just, I'm going to listen to it multiple times. I like the music of it. I like the message.
Thank you so much, man. And hey, if you can't find something, just tweet at us at Fairpoint Pod. Hit us up on Facebook, Fairpoint Podcast. We're very active. Like, we'll direct you to whatever you want. And like, dude, thank you. That means the world to me, and it means the world to me to have been able to come on here and do this. Like, this has been so
Bucket
awesome.
list item number 38.
38
checked.
Yeah, in a row.
Well, listen, guys, thank you so much for being here, and thanks everybody for listening. And remember, just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they're not after you. Goodbye.
Bye. Have a great night,
Bye.
guys.
Feral Audio.
I can't believe how cold it is. It's so cold in here. Don't you think you should turn your phone and look at me now? I think it's so rude. You're so cold. As a branch of the United States government,
As a branch of the United States government, it is the mission of the National Security Agency to assess and flag citizens of the country who may present a threat to its security. The NSA has clearance to wiretap by any means necessary.
Tapped. Incidental recordings of private conversations from the files of the NSA.
now on feralaudio.com.